Alright, back at it with the only free MMA channel that fucking matters. And I apologize for the delay, but now it's time to flood the motherfucking streets. Fuck you, Tam-Mat, dude. Let's get first things first. We're gonna get straight to fucking business, because we got a lot of business to get to. Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cringe Cormier. John Jones is a bitch. After this video, I'm gonna do that video for Troll Buster. I didn't forget about it, but I just fucking ain't looked at the request list. But I know I gotta get to that. I'm gonna do that shit. Actually, I'm gonna do a couple videos, then I'm gonna get to it. But anyways, Daniel Cormier said the UFC should pay Demitrious Johnson $1 million to take the TJ Dillashaw fight. I think Mr. Cringe is a motherfucking fan of the channel. Remember I said give the DJ the cool meal. Give him a cool million. Hey, and I don't even know what you're gonna do with the pay-per-view points, but just give him a cool million for the record-breaking fight against the guy that's coming down from a former champion from a weight class above. You're letting him skip the line. Just give DJ a cool million. He'll take the fight. He ain't scared of TJ Dillashaw. Just give him a cool million. That's all Daniel Cormier's saying. But anyways, let's get a little more in depth of what he said. He said the UFC, if you want Demitrious Johnson to take the TJ Dillashaw fight, give him the money. Pay him $1 million and say that's your fight. I know it's a lot for a 125-pounder, but the guy's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Pay him the money and let him go fight. Pay him as the #1 fighter in the world for once. Hey, he's low-key throwing shade on John Jones. He said he's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He didn't say arguably. Shade on John Jones. He said, I think the responsibility for everything can be shared between Demitrious and the UFC. The UFC really doesn't understand how to market him because they have to get creative. He's smaller, he's not the biggest guy, he's dominant. Even when Anderson Silva was the guy running around through his division, his points weren't very high. So they have to get creative. I don't know if they've gotten creative, but I do believe DJ has done his part. And I mean, I agree and I disagree with that. He has done his part in putting himself in the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world conversation. If he wasn't in that conversation, we wouldn't even be talking about his money. We weren't talking about his money at 5 title defenses. It wasn't until he got to 10 that you really have a case, because now you're about to break the record. Now it's not arguably. Now you really have something to stand on. But as far as doing your part, you see what you got to do nowadays to get paid. Unless you're the GOAT, that's your only leg to stand on. You gotta talk that shit. Does Demitrious do his part in selling the fight that way? No, he don't. Don't lie. Don't fucking lie. Yes, he is entertaining. Yes, he does finish guys. But there's a lot of guys that fucking are entertaining and aren't the biggest stars. Like, look at Matt Brown and people like that. Like, yeah, everyone, we love them fighting. You know, that's a fighter's fighter. But they're not the biggest stars. I mean, Demitrious Johnson, if he was selling the fight more, if he came out and he said, TJ Dillashaw's a bitch. I'm just saying, so he said he believes DJ has done his part. He's only done his part as far as putting himself in the conversation as greatest of all time. He's not doing his part in selling the fight. How do you think that? He's not taking it in his own hands, promotion in his own hand. He doesn't have his own team. He doesn't have his own camera team following him around like Tyron Woodley trying to make videos. He's not putting in that type of effort. He's just going out there and winning fights like, okay, that's enough. And that's not enough. There's guys that have been winning. There's guys on win streaks all the time, and you're not a star off of a win streak. You're a star whenever you talk shit, whenever you're entertaining. It's a mix of things. There's a lot of guys that say, oh, the UFC should make me a star. Somebody in the UFC said, we don't make stars. We promote them. And I think someone in the comments said that to me, and I liked that. Because, I mean, you can help make a star if you like, if they are a star, but they have a weakness. So you just help them avoid that weakness until they get stronger at that weakness. But they were already a star. But if they lost fights, we wouldn't have seen them shine. So, but if you're not a star, then you're not a star. And I'm sorry to say it, Demitrious Johnson's not a star. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time, but as far as the star power, as far as what it takes to fucking be at the top of headlines and getting headlines, and how are you going to get headlines? winning a fight against Wilson Hayes. Yeah, we know that shit was awesome. You fucking submitted a black belt. That shit was great. Loved it. That fucking, hey, I loved it. You know, he's one of my favorite fighters. But that doesn't change the fact that you didn't come out and say, I just finished this dude at his own fucking game. Can't nobody fuck with me. Anybody that wants to step up, TJ Dillashaw, try me. You can get it, but I'm getting paid first. I tell you what, I'll take anybody out, but pay me my fucking money. Dana, you hear that? Boom. Put that on the commercials. Sell the fight. Demand what you want. And star power. You got to come out there and do that shit. So I don't agree with Daniel Cormier when he says DJ has done his part. All he's doing is winning fights. Yes, he is entertaining fights, but at the same time, you're small. So you got that against you, too. You really have to be an entertaining fighter if you're going to be that small. So that's part of the game. If you're out there wrestle fucking in the 125-pound division, getting cut. It ain't even about that. So you have to be entertaining at that small. Now, to be a star, to make the millions, yeah, you can get a cool million for this fight because you deserve it. But if you want more millions, if you want pay-per-view points, we need to see that motherfucking WWE come out of you, baby boy. You need to come out here and just start turning heel or doing whatever you gotta do to motherfucking sell fights. And now, that's what I'll say about that. Get to one last Daniel Cormier said. He said, honestly, as an African American, you have to market people differently. There's a different demographic, and I don't know if DJ really fits neatly into any certain one. Because just his family and everything combined. You got to get tricky marketing these small guys, especially an African American guy. So the UFC doesn't really know how to do that yet with him. See, that shit was weird as hell, Daniel Cormier. You just had African American twice and you didn't say gamer once. Dude, it's a lot easier to market a fucking African American than a gamer to fighters. To fighters. I'm not saying gamers can't be marketed, dude. I know the gaming industry is fucking huge, and I'm sure you can figure out something to do with that. But to the most people that watch fights are not super invested into games, especially fighters. If you're training and you might get on and play every now and then, but it's not the type of people, like there's people that live to game and shit. That's a whole different world. So that's a harder, to me, that would be a harder way to figure out to market. And so you're an African American gamer that doesn't talk shit. Who do you want me to sell you to? It's gonna be, I don't blame the UFC. Who the fuck does know how to sell that? But I don't like how Daniel Cormier, he said, I don't like how it's harder to market African Americans, but no, it's really hard to market gamers to the fighting community, in my opinion. I just don't see it. Because I know gamers that like fighting, and they're not fans of Demitrious Johnson, and they know he games. I mean, I've said it before. What he's trying to do with gaming is where you like broadcast your gaming, where you can like go watch him play the game. That platform is for people that are either really, really good at the game or entertaining personalities. And you're just a fighter that's playing the game. You're not an entertaining personality. Or you would be talking shit and on fucking cutting promos and shit. And you're not really, really good at the game because you have to devote your life to fighting. So you just get on there to play in your spare time. The only reason people are going to tune in to watch you game is to ask you about fighting. And I've tuned in before. And he says, I don't want to talk about fighting here. I'm just here to game. I'm just relaxing. I focus on fighting too much. I don't want to talk about my fighting. He'll talk about it sometimes, but then it's like, dude, I'm here to ask fighting questions. I'm not here to watch you suck at the game. So, I mean, I don't know. I do think he deserves a cool million, but I definitely see the UFC's struggle. It's not the UFC's fault. You gotta motherfucking I do like that saying that the UFC doesn't make stars, they promote them. Cause, I like that statement. Alright, I've got a lot of shit to get to. Like I said, we about to motherfucking flood the streets, flood the block. Fuck Oscar. Fuck you talking about, dude. We gotta get to all this motherfucking news. We got requests coming. We got Verse the World. We got a tough episode that dropped Wednesday. I heard it was a good episode. I gotta recap that. We got so much shit to do, boy. I don't know what else to say on this video. I could probably go on, because you know how I do. I could fucking talk about this shit all day, but we got other topics, so I don't know what else to say, man. Fuck it. It is what it is. Let me know what you think about it. The way I said fuck it made me think about John Jones is a bitch. We out. Fuck you, time out, dude.